All right, so in this video, we're going to explore Google Apps for Education within Bay District schools. This video is relevant for students and teachers because all students and teachers in Bay District schools have access to a district-issued Google account. The purpose of this session is to explore a variety of Google Apps for education that you can start using in your classroom. Google Apps allows teachers and students to collaborate and create documents, forms, presentations, websites, amongst other things. So this video will focus primarily on the most popular used Google Apps inside of our Google accounts. By no means are we exploring all of the apps. This is also not a how-to video. Instead, think of this as a commercial on Google Apps and where to find the Google Apps and some of the ways in which Google Apps have been used in Bay District schools. There will be more detailed videos on the TOSA U website that focus on specifics on how-tos for each application that we're mentioning here today. So in order to access your Google Apps, again, just as a reminder, all students and all teachers have a Google Apps account that is associated with their district account. So we're not talking about personal Gmail accounts or anything like that, especially with the students. We're referring to their district issued account. When a user is logged into their Google account, in the top right corner, they will usually see some tiles as we've kind of illustrated here in this picture. They'll see some tiles in the top right of their Google account. If they click on those tiles, they'll be able to access what Google calls their Google Apps. So those are applications that live inside of each Google account, which is what we're exploring today. So to click on once you click on those little tiles and you get into your Google Apps, you'll see a variety of applications, some of which will include Gmail, Calendar, Drive, Docs, Slides, Forms, and Sites. Again, these are not all of the Google apps that are associated with your account, but these are some of them. So we'll explore each of these listed here today. Again, not a how-to, but more so kind of a commercial for each one of them. And look for other videos on the TOSA U website that go into more detail about each of these. So the first one we want to talk about is one that most people would be familiar with, Gmail itself. Just basically an online communication hub where you have access to send and receive emails, text and voice messages, video chats, a big directory of contacts. So Gmail is used on any computer, phone, tablet for both online and offline purposes as well. It's obviously more efficient if it's online. It's real time. Teachers are very familiar with Gmail as it's the main source of communication amongst the district and amongst teachers and staff. But what they may not be aware of is students have those same features and those same or that same way to communicate with teachers through the actual Gmail account itself. So students that have their Gmail account and they're signed into their Google account that's the district has issued can receive emails from teachers or staff within the district. Important information such as like when passwords expire come to those school issued Gmail accounts. So many students should be logging into those to see that important and that relevant information that is coming to those Gmail accounts. Teachers can import the contacts of their students into their Google accounts, into their own Google accounts, so they can easily communicate with students about important information or events happening in their classroom or at the school. So big thing there is to know that teachers and students both have access to Gmail accounts that are issued to the district that provide that professional communication avenue that many teachers are looking for to get information to students. Google Calendar, this helps you keep track of appointments, events, etc. that would go on at your school. Teachers may be familiar with Google Calendar kind of from the district standpoint or from the school standpoint, but one way to look at this Google Calendar piece would be to have a Google Calendar for your own classroom and share that Google Calendar with your students so that when your students log into their Google account, or if they add their Google Calendar to their calendar on their phone or their tablet or just inside of their Google account on a desktop, they'll be able to see important events and information in regards to that specific classroom calendar. They can share that with teachers, students, or even outside of the district with parents. And that's a key piece of Google Calendar is the ability to share and make a calendar public so that certain individuals that may not have a Google account can access that. So it's a really cool avenue for teachers to use to spread information. You can attach PDFs, you can attach files inside of those Google Calendar events so that you can, if there's a spelling test on Friday, you could essentially attach the PDF to that calendar invite or that calendar event, I should say, and whoever has access to that calendar could also have access to that PDF. So important to manage appointments and whatnot, but also to gather and store information and resources to those that you would like to have access to. So the Google Drive. The Google Drive is another application that lives within your Google account. The Google Drive allows you to store and share all of your documents, pictures, videos, etc. within the Google Drive. So inside of the Google Drive, all of your documents can be stored. So think of this as kind of like a flash drive, an H drive, however you would normally store your documents. Google Drive is another alternative to that. The nice thing about Google Drive is you can access your documents anywhere you have internet access. There's also a feature that would allow for offline access, but to be more efficient, you would want to use the online access. So you could be working on a document, or you could be pulling up a file at school on your desktop, and then you go home or you go to a different area in the school and you log into your Google account and you can pick up right where you left working. So you don't have to carry on that flash drive. You don't have to be logged into a district computer to access the content. All you need to be able to do is log into your Google account and pull that up on essentially any device. So Google Drive is a really good platform for storing documents. Kind of continuing that conversation, inside of Google Drive, there are several applications, one of which is Google Docs. Google Docs is a productivity tool that will allow students and teachers to create word processing documents. So think Microsoft Word, but this is Google's version of that, if you will. One of the nice and added features to Google Docs is the ability to collaborate, edit, and share anytime, anywhere. So if you've got a device that can connect to the internet, you essentially have a device that can pull up your Google Docs, and you can pick up on word processing or documents that you may have created. You can share out so that you can have more than one person working on that same document at the same time. Maybe you want somebody just to make edits or comment on the document. You can set that up within those features as well. So Google Docs is a really great way to create any kind of document that you would normally create in Word, or maybe Pages or another word processing document, and have that live inside of your Google Drive. And from there, you can access that content anywhere you have internet access. When you have access to this presentation, which you will through the TOSA U site, you'll be able to click on these links here, and these links will take you out to examples and other information, just extended resources to this presentation. So make sure when you're viewing this or as you're going through this presentation in your own time that you can click on these links here, and they'll take you out to gather or to see more information. So another piece inside of the Google Drive is going to be the Google Slides. Google Slides is a presentation tool that lets you create and edit and collaborate, just like Docs does, in real time. The point of Google Slides would be from the presentation standpoint. So much like PowerPoint or maybe Keynote in another application, presentation, Google Slides allows you to create those presentations, and you can edit those, share those, collaborate on those with classmates in the school, maybe in your own classroom or outside of the school or anywhere around the world, given the link that you have access to. So understand that Google Slides is very similar to Google Docs. It's just a different format, where Docs would be the word processing, Google Slides would be the presentation piece. And you can create both of those applications inside of your Google Drive, which lives inside of your Google account. We have an example of a first grade presentation here, so when you have access to this presentation, feel free to click on that and explore. But this is a great way for students in a variety of areas and formats, whether it's at school on the desktop or maybe on their mobile device at home, to create a presentation or to review presentations that have been created for them. Google Forms is another really cool application inside of your Google account that lives in the Google Drive. Google Forms is a way to collect data. It's very streamlined in the sense that a user of a form or the creator of the form will send it out to whoever they want them or whoever they want to fill out the form. When people fill out the form or when they complete the form, the data is collected in a spreadsheet that's associated with that specific form. All of this takes place inside of Google Drive. So ways that we've seen it used in Bay District schools is to take a poll or a survey, to create a quiz, bell ringers. You can create rubrics that would be like a checklist for the teacher as they're grading work, exit tickets. Flubaroo is a really cool add-on inside of Google Forms that will allow teachers to have work graded for them. So if they did a quiz using Google Forms, Flubaroo would automatically grade some of that work for them, depending on the question type. There will be more, or there is more videos and information on Flubaroo through the TOSA U video site. But just know that Google Forms is a really good way to collect data, whether it's for an assessment or maybe it's just collecting informal data at your school or with your students. Again, students have access to the forms, so they can create their own forms. They can create their own assessments, share with others, have students take their assessments, etc. So that's Google Forms that lives within your Google account inside of Google Drive. Google Sites is a great way for students and teachers to create custom websites and web pages without having to know the complex languages of coding or HTML or any of that, normal web creating processes. In other words, Google Sites is a great way for teachers to go in and students to go in, create a site, and do simple edits. They literally create the site, they click on edit, they can add web pages, they can add content, pictures, videos. Teachers have used this for their classroom sites, which many of you are probably well aware of that. But then students have also used these Google Sites as a way to house content. Think of e-portfolios in a way. Different tabs and different pages on their sites may represent a grade level or a topic in a class. The important piece here is to know that Google Sites is part of the Google Apps for Education. It is something that all teachers and students have access to, and it doesn't involve a lot of complicated coding like normal websites may involve. Again, this is accessible through your Google account. So that kind of wraps up the big picture of the Google Apps. Again, there are many more Google Apps out there that we didn't discuss in this video, but these were some of the big ones and some of the ones that were used most frequently in our district. Should you have any questions, you can feel free to contact TOSA at tosa@bay.k12.fl.us. TOSA can come out and assist you in any of these applications or any other instructional technology needs you have. You can follow us on Twitter as well. We're at BayTech2. And we try to tweet out relevant and important information regarding instructional technology specific to our district and things that could help our teachers and our students in our district. Again, when you have this presentation, here's a link here that you can click on that will take you out to our website where you'll find other important information as well. So here are some resources for Google Apps, kind of the final page here. If you click on these links, they will take you out to resources that would be relevant to this topic, Google Apps for Education. You have a Google App resource page here that if you click on, it'll take you to that. 40 ways to use Google Apps in the classroom. Google Apps for Education training page. So it gives you some training tips and some ideas on how to learn and go through the Google Apps. Again, you can contact TOSA for more help, but you can also review that training page. This is an interactive tutorial that will take you through some different tasks and things associated with Google Apps. And then finally, examples of how Bay districts or how Google Apps are used in Bay District schools. That's the last link on that page, and it just gives you some insight on how some of your colleagues or students inside of the district have used Google Apps for Education. There's also Twitter hashtags out there, so if you are a Twitter user, you can search those 3 hashtags there, and you may find information that would be relevant to Google Apps as a whole, and of course that would be worldwide. I mean, you're going to get a variety of perspectives when you search those hashtags in reference to Google Apps for education. So should you need any other help or any of assistance, please don't hesitate to contact TOSA. We're more than happy to come out and train, work with you on the Google Apps, work with your students on Google Apps, model, do whatever we need to do to help this tool and this technology piece become an effective part of your classroom. So thank you again for watching this video, and should you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact us.